If you look at the daily agenda of the most successful people, the more successful or more important their time or influence is, the more time they will spend in meetings. You've seen the movies of kings and queens. All day, it's one meeting after another. One person presents themselves and their wishes or their grievances, one right after the other. It's a constant meeting. Presidents, prime ministers, premiers, chancellors, other heads of state spend their day going from one meeting to another. Meetings account for 1/3 of a CEO's entire life's work. Even the once soldier who spent most of his time running, crawling through the mud, shooting guns, and going on patrol, once he or she becomes a general, then they will spend all their time in meetings. Why? Because meetings are often the most productive thing you can do. It is where you collect expert counsel, collaborate and brainstorm with other key people, and make organization, business, and life-changing decisions. A 30-minute meeting can decide the fate of a nation, of an industry, of a business, or a profit and loss statement, as they do every single day. So I guess the point I'm driving at here is it's really a good idea to get your meetings right. And because the opposite is also true, I think it would be frightening to know exactly how much productive life force is squashed and unproductive, rudderless, meandering, ineffective, blathering, brain-numbing meetings every single day. So then, now that I think we've established the importance of our meeting here today, let me do my darndest to outline a simple formula on how to have way more productive meetings. Are you ready? All right. Like all games in life, victory is decided before the games begin. Preparation determines outcomes. By the way, that's a good one for your notes. You are taking notes, right? If not, go grab your journal or notebook. I'll wait. All right. See how not being prepared can cost you your life force? Okay, now that you're ready for your notes, let me repeat that key insight. Preparation determines outcomes. So the first point on our more productive meetings game plan is, number one, the pre-game plan. There are 4 parts to your pre-game plan. Number one is purpose. What's the purpose of this meeting? Don't call a meeting until you have identified and written a clear purpose and have defined objectives and a specific outcome that you're seeking for this meeting. This will reveal the lack of necessity for most meetings. I often start a meeting that I was asked for or called to with that question. What is the purpose of this meeting? The answer might be, oh, we want to walk you through the presentation and proposal of such and such project. I'll ask further, for what purpose? Well, to get your approval. Great, approved. I've already thought about it and came to that decision. Meeting adjourned. I just saved 30 to 60 minutes of absolute torture to arrive at the same outcome. See how knowing the purpose is critical? It also focuses the message and agenda of the one who's seeking the meeting. Never call or start a meeting without stating and then restating the purpose of the meeting. Your meetings will be 75% shorter and much more resultful. Number two, establish the rules of engagement. Establish your meeting rules up front. I have 2 strict rules. One, being on time. You've probably seen some of our A-Team burpee videos that get posted on Facebook. If you haven't, I'll link them somewhere on the page on this video to show you. Our team, if you are late for a meeting, the penalty is 50 burpees, recorded on video and posted publicly. We do this in all good fun, but trust me, burpees are not fun. In the history of the hundreds of meetings we've had as a team, the videos that you see are the only time somebody was late. And even in those times, oh sure, there was a good reason, but the policy is no excuses. None, no matter what. We believe in extreme accountability. The other strict rule for our meetings is no cell phones. No phones on the conference table or even on silent in your pocket. We all know that even the vibration of the phone in your pocket will interrupt your mind from the conversation at hand and put your brain into your pocket and then have you feel distracted and unnerved and agitated now, knowing what or trying to figure out what that vibration might be about. the constant electronic dog collar we allow to have strapped around our necks that gives us a shock of distraction by the hand of anyone from anywhere around the world that has a brain fart or inane musing is, well, it's insane. Look, if you're meeting with the US president, well, never mind that. Let's say you were meeting with Oprah. You would turn off your phone, right? Give everybody that same respect. Schedule breaks so that folks can fiddle with their toys, but boldly enforce a full engagement policy when the meeting is on. Oh, and don't give me this, I have to be available to my kids at every single frickin' second. They are the biggest culprit of pressing the button on your shock collar. The 911 that you get because Joey won't let his sister watch her show, or because Colton can't find the popcorn bowl. We designate one phone, usually a landline, or to one person's mobile phone, that is what you give your kids or the babysitter. You'll be shocked how infrequent your house actually burns down, or someone severs their arm and bleeds actively out that requires somebody to text you or to call you. When you were growing up, how often did you text or call your parents when they were working? Yeah, 0. And hey, look at you. You're alive. Okay, I will step off that box. That was a soapbox, by the way. By the way, for my millennial friends, a soapbox was a sturdy wooden crate that goods were shipped in that also made a good portable temporary platform to stand on and make speeches. This was a BA, of course, before Amazon and the cardboard box, but get off your cardboard box just doesn't seem to have the same ring to it, right? But I digress. Okay, here's number 3. The invite list. Not everyone should be in every meeting, every time, all the way through. That's how you really waste a lot of time, of those not needing to be there and of the efficiency and effectiveness of the meeting for everybody else. Only invite those people integral to the discussion, to the purpose of the meeting in the first point. Remember that from point number 1? Everyone else can get the 10-minute summary update. Don't drag innocent bystanders through the slugfest all the way through. Only key contributors to the dialogue need suffer the full meeting. If some people are going to be key to some parts of the meeting, then I have a big tip for you on this one. Schedule what I call guest appearances. If some people won't be needed until 30 minutes into the meeting, have them come in only at that point and then depart immediately after their contribution. They will thank you for it, and they also won't derail your meeting with other musings that really aren't qualified to contribute to. Everybody wins. And number 4, the agenda. Don't have a meeting without one. Circulate a draft agenda and obtain feedback, suggestions, and input from the participants in advance. This will refine the agenda and acquire a buy-in from everybody else. Remember what you wrote down at the beginning here? Preparation determines outcome. Often, more time is spent in working on the agenda, refining it, pruning it, focusing it, than the time in the actual meeting, as it should be. You remember my video on the cost of meetings, right? When you have everybody in a room and all their attention is on one thing, you better be on point because the money meter is running and at full tilt. The greatest coach to have ever lived, in my opinion, the late great John Wooden, would meticulously prepare for every practice session down to the minute. He did this every morning with his assistant. He'd spend up to 2 hours planning a practice that wouldn't even take that long. Ask everyone who is to attend the meeting for prep work. Distribute the reference materials that should be reviewed or studied prior to the meeting. The meeting can then focus on the discussion and the decisions, not the background information, presentations, or review. All right, that is just the pre-meeting or the pre-game part. Now the second stage. This is where it is game on. Start off by doing a little pep talk. Remind the group what the purpose of the meeting is and what the major objectives and outcomes should be. Next, designate a referee, someone who will be the time cop and the skirmish referee. have that person give the 2-minute warning when approaching the conclusion of an agenda item and announce the hard stops as well as the commercial breaks. If someone starts to infringe upon or steer the conversation down a rabbit hole, have the referee throw the yellow card, suggest the conversation be taken offline, meaning outside the meeting, and assign someone to write up the information and then circulate it back to the group. But don't let it occupy everybody's time while everyone is present. Then, fight, but fairly. To have a healthy and productive meeting, you have to encourage debate, dispute, and disagreement. If everybody agrees with everything, then there's no need for a meeting. So fight, but fight fairly. Attack ideas, not people. Battle concepts, but not the character of the person with the opposing view. No unnecessary roughness or unsportsmanlike conduct, or you will get tossed from the game or the meeting. In my meetings, if you disagree, I want you to disagree vigorously. If you believe in your position, fight for it. The goal is not to be right. The goal is to produce greater ideas and to come to well thought through decisions. That requires debate, vigorous and passionate debate. This is only possible through great leadership. It is the leader's job to draw people out, to make sure everyone's voice gets heard, and to even encourage dissenting arguments to be made. If your team is agreeable, if they go along to get along, if they're not disagreeing, debating, or spiritedly holding each other to account, that's a sign of poor leadership and a weak team culture. Right now, go on Amazon and order The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team by Patrick Lencioni and read it together. Having fun? Okay, let's wrap up. Let's move on to step 3, the post-meeting or post-game wrap-up. It's making sure all the action items and newly decided deliverables are accounted for. We call it the WWWs, the who, what, and when. Every action item that needs to be 100% accountable to one person, and that one person with a specific date of delivery. Not 2 people, not a department or a team, one person. If 2 people or a department needs to work on it, there's still only one DRI, as Steve Jobs called it, only one directly responsible individual. So make sure every action item has a DRI and a date of completion before wrapping up your awesomely productive meeting. Then circulate the key points and the WWs to all the attendees and assign someone to follow up on everybody's WWWs at a particular date. Oh, one last thing I'd like to do during a particularly important meeting is to ask everyone to rate the meeting. So at the end of the meeting, you just say, on a scale of 1 to 10, how efficient, expedient, and productive was this meeting? Everybody will give their number. Then an important follow-up question. What would have made it a 10? You will discover some really great ideas on how to improve your meetings going forward. And equally important, your people will see how committed you are to running productive meetings, and that will bring out their A game each time you call a huddle. The key to running wildly productive meetings now that you know the formula, is consistency. If you practice sloppy play, you will start losing in the game of productivity. Continue the reckless behavior, and it might even cost you key players. That is what is called murder by meetings. To outline and plan all your meetings with excellence, I'm going to share with you my own productive meeting planner. I think you will find it helpful in keeping your discipline and leading way more fun, engaged, and importantly, productive meetings. Sound good? All you have to do is click below to get access to your very own productive meeting planner. And I can't wait to hear your thoughts on the difference this will make to your team or organization's productivity going forward.